Okay, I want to share the best books that I read in 2024, and I will make it screenshot friendly so that you can take screenshots and have it as a resource. My sticky note just fell. In case you're wondering what that sticky note was. Tress of the Emerald Sea is about a girl named Tress who embarks on a dangerous adventure across a magical sea to save a friend who happens to also be a prince. And it's a story about bravery and magic and self-discovery. It's a book about discovering your true potential and stepping out of your comfort zone. And as I read this story, I couldn't help but to think about a quote that I love so much: "A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor," which is a quote that I use when life gets tough. It's not there to break me. It's there to challenge me, to make me a better human, to make me a skilled sailor. So if you love books of self-discovery, magical adventures, definitely give this one a try. And it's also a great introduction into Brandon Sanderson, who said he was inspired by The Princess Bride when he wrote this. So if you love that book, if you love that movie, inconceivable. White Nights is about a lonely man who meets a girl and falls in love with her after he finds a similar emptiness in her. It's a book about loneliness and the hurt that love can bring. It shows the best parts of love, the magical feeling that love can bring, but it also displays this incredible hurt that love can bring. And damn it, this book hurts. And I've been heartbroken once or twice. We all have. But the way that this narrator gets heartbroken, bro, it should be illegal. If you love stories about heartbreak, I don't know why you would want that. But if you do, and if you love stories that where the main character wears his emotions on his sleeves, then this is a great book to check out. I don't know how to be silent when my heart is speaking. Oh, that line just got me so good. Ooh, when I read that line. Misery is about an author named Paul who gets kidnapped by his number one fan, Annie, who traps him and forces him to write a new book in the way that she wants. And she basically threatens his life if he does not obey. It's a book about the dangers and cost of fame. It's about losing control of your body. And it just gets worse and worse as the story goes on. And it also has one of the best villains you will ever read in a book, Annie, who is a mix of evil and intelligence, which to me is the creepiest thing a villain can be. This was my first Stephen King book. I'm looking forward to more of his work. The hype is real, you guys. Get on it. I'm on it. Oh, and if you live in Colorado like I do, it gets even more creepier. Funny stories about a girl named Daphne whose fiance leaves her for her best friend Petra. She is then forced to become roommates with Petra's ex, Miles. First of all, I'm a huge Emily Henry fan. I've read all her books. I love rom-coms in general, so when I read her books, it reminds me of those classic rom-com films that I love so much. And it's that simple. If you want a fun rom-com with witty writing and maybe lessons on how to grow from a breakup, a nightmare of a breakup, then definitely check out this book. The Stranger is about a man who is emotionally detached from life. The novel explores themes of humanity and questioning life's meaning and society's expectations. This book made me think about, what does it mean to be human? Who am I living my life for? Is it for me? Is it for someone else? Is it for my society? Who? And it reminded me to live the life that I want to live, because no matter what, I will be judged. However, when I live that life, it has to be led with honesty, love to myself and to my community, and to strangers through empathy. Yo, if you want a book to last with you throughout your entire life, because ever since I read this book, I can't stop thinking about it, you have to pick up this book. It's short, it's small, it's mighty, but it punches so hard, it knocked me out, and I think about it all the time. Oh, and to make things even better, it's by a French author. It's French literature. Albert Camus is the author, and I don't know what else to say. J'adore le livre, or something like that. James is about a slave named Jim who overhears that he's about to be sold away. And because he doesn't want to be separated from his family, he runs and tries to come up with a new plan. This book has incredible dialogue, humor, and plenty of adventure. It is a great story that teaches you some history, and it shows the power of language, books, and writing almost in a source of a superpower or a resource for survival. Everyone is talking about this book. It's being nominated for everything, but no one is talking about the ending. The ending is so good, and it adds a twist to the adventures of Huckleberry Finn that I can't tell you about, so you need to go read it. If you love historical fiction like I do, it's my favorite genre. If you love books with incredible dialogue, intelligent writing, you have to read this book. Lessons in Chemistry is about Elizabeth Zott, a brilliant chemist in the 1960s who becomes the star of a cooking show and uses science to challenge society's expectations of women. Elizabeth is an incredible inspiration to any gender. She is resilient, hardworking, and knows exactly who she is. This book reminds me to be proud of who I am and my talents and the work that makes me happy. And she is just one of the most strongest characters that I have ever read in any book. And she will inspire you and remind you to be proud of who you are and what you stand for. Dark Matter is about Jason, a man who gets knocked out and wakes up in a strange world where his life is completely different. His wife isn't his wife. His son doesn't exist, and he's a popular scientist instead of a normal professor. I love how this book made me think about what's essential in my life. We all want to make the right choices, of course, but those decisions only matter when you truly have a definition of what your happiness means to you. And at its core, it's a love story with sci-fi and thriller aspects and elements sprinkled all across the book, but it's a story about getting back to your home, getting back to your family. and I'm laughing because it has one of the best lines I've read all year. It's a little corny, so forgive me. Daniela hasn't worn perfume in years, but she's wearing it tonight. And she smells like Daniela without me, like Daniela before our separate scents merged into us. I don't know. I know it's a bit cheesy, but I absolutely love those words. But look, if you want a sci-fi love story, this is the one. Blood Over Brighthaven is about a girl named Siona, a determined mage who earns a spot in the High Magistry only to be given a janitor as her assistant, but together they uncover a dark mystery and secret that changes magic in their world forever. And the book talks about sexism and power and politics, a little bit of colonialism as well, but it's really about a book about being a good person. Oh, and one thing, I love the magic system in this book because the way that Siona thinks about magic reminded me so much of programming. She's literally doing flowcharts as she's coming up with these spells, and I thought it was just brilliant. If you love strong female characters, great side characters as well, who you will connect with, and if you love societal debates hidden in a fantasy book, I think you will like this book. Frankenstein tells the story of Victor Frankenstein, a scientist who creates a living creature and abandons it. Rejected by society, the creature starts to seek revenge, leading to tragedy for both. Let me try and tell you a quick story. I've been so hyped for Nosferatu for the longest time. And around Halloween, shortly after maybe, I wanted to read Dracula to get in the vibes, to get the vibes going. You know what I mean? And so one late night, I go to bed, I go with my Kindle, of course, and I download a sample of Dracula. Okay, fast forward. The next day I wake up, and obviously the next day I wake up, thank God. The next day I wake up, and when I go to my Kindle, I realized that I didn't download Dracula. I downloaded Frankenstein. And I'm like, all right, well, it's here already. Let's read it. I do, and I couldn't put it down. It's a beautiful story about ambition, isolation, friendship, loneliness, and trying to make a mark in the world, trying to make a name for yourself. The wordplay and the emotions in the sentences of this book is some of the most beautiful writing I've had the pleasure of reading. I can talk all day about this book, but look, if you want a book about ambition, about defining your identity and making a mark in the world, you have to read this book. It's regarded as one of the first sci-fi novels ever written, and it's completely changed the way that I see Frankenstein in pop culture. And it's absolutely one of my favorite books of all time now. I love it so much. I am out of water and I am also out of breath. So it's been a pleasure sharing these 10 books with you. I've had a great reading year. I would love to know what was your favorite book that you read in 2024. I love having these kind of conversations, and maybe I can find something as well, which is the fun part. Right. Okay. I don't know how to say goodbye. So like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you next week.